How on earth did they build the Eiffel Tower over 100 years ago, without all the crazy construction tech we have today? It looks almost impossible, right? A giant metal lattice soaring over 1,000 feet into the sky. Well, the French engineers back in the 1880s were absolute geniuses, and they used some seriously clever tricks to pull it off. Let's dive into the incredible story of how this iconic landmark was born. It all started with the 1889 exposition, Universelle or World's Fair, which was set to be held in Paris. The French government wanted a spectacular centerpiece. Something that would scream, France is the future. They launched a design competition, and over 100 proposals flooded in. But one design stood out from the rest. It was a radical open-latticed iron tower proposed by the engineering firm of Gustave Eiffel. Now, Eiffel himself wasn't the sole designer. The initial concept actually came from two of his senior engineers, Maurice Koechlin and Émile Nouguier, along with architect Stephen Sylvester, who added the decorative arches and other aesthetic touches. At first, Eiffel wasn't super enthusiastic, but he quickly saw the potential and threw his full support behind the project. He even bought the patent rights and put his own name on it. Smart move. The plan was audacious. A tower reaching 300 meters high, which would make it the tallest man-made structure in the world at the time, absolutely dwarfing the Washington Monument. Many people in Paris were horrified. A group of prominent artists and writers, including the famous author Guy de Maupassant, published a petition calling it a monstrous and useless blot on the city's skyline. They called it a gigantic black smokestack. Ouch. But Eiffel and his team pushed forward, undeterred by the critics. Construction began in January 1887. The first major challenge was the foundation. The tower stands right next to the River Seine, so the ground was soft and unstable. They had to dig deep, over 50 feet below ground level, to create solid foundations. For the two legs closest to the river, they used an incredible technique involving pressurized, watertight chambers called Caissons. Workers would go down into these caissons and dig out the mud and gravel by hand. It was dangerous, high-pressure work, but it was essential to create a stable base. Each of the four massive concrete slabs that formed the foundation had to be perfectly level to support the immense weight of the iron above. Once the foundations were set, the real magic began, assembling the iron structure itself. This is where the genius of Eiffel's company really shone. The entire tower was prefabricated. Every single one of the 18,038 pieces of wrought iron was designed, calculated, and manufactured at Eiffel's factory just outside Paris. Each beam, girder, and plate was cut and shaped to an accuracy of 1/10 of a millimeter. The holes for the rivets were pre-drilled. It was like a gigantic, life-sized mechano set. This prefabrication was the secret to the project's incredible speed and precision. The parts would arrive on site, pulled by horse-drawn carts, and then it was a matter of putting them together. Think of it like the world's most complicated IKEA flat-pack furniture. For the lower sections, they used massive wooden scaffolds and small, steam-powered cranes that actually crept up the tower legs as the structure grew. These were called creeper cranes, and they were revolutionary for their time. They were literally built into the structure they were helping to build. As the four legs rose and began to curve inward, the next big challenge appeared. How do you connect them all at the first level, about 189 feet up? Everything had to align perfectly. To solve this, Eiffel's engineers placed powerful hydraulic jacks in the base of each leg. These jacks could make tiny adjustments, pushing each leg up or letting it down by fractions of an inch, until all four legs met in perfect alignment. On a massive temporary wooden scaffold, the huge horizontal girders of the first platform were slid into place and joined to the legs. It was a moment of triumph. The tower was stable. From the first level upwards, the construction method changed. They no longer needed the massive scaffolding from the ground. Instead, the creeper cranes continued their journey up the tracks of the tower itself, hoisting the iron pieces into place. The workers, known as skywalkers, were the real heroes of this story. These guys, mostly former sailors and high steel workers, were incredibly brave. They worked hundreds of feet in the air, with minimal safety equipment, no harnesses, no safety nets like we have today. They would casually walk along the narrow beams, tossing red-hot rivets to each other and hammering them into place. The riveting process itself was a four-man dance. One person, the heater, would heat the rivet in a small portable forge until it was glowing orange. He'd then toss it, sometimes a distance of 30 or 40 feet, to the catcher, who would catch it in a conical bucket. The catcher would knock out any cinders and place the hot rivet into the pre-drilled hole. Two other workers, the striker and the bucker-up, would then hammer it from both sides simultaneously, forming a tight, secure bond as the rivet cooled and contracted. Over 2.5 million rivets were used to hold the Eiffel Tower together. It's mind-boggling. And here's a stunning fact. Thanks to Eiffel's meticulous planning, strict safety rules for the time, and the skill of the workers, only one person died during the entire construction of the tower. That is an absolutely incredible safety record for a project of this scale in the 19th century. As the tower climbed higher and higher, Paris watched in a mixture of awe and horror. The critics were still vocal, but public opinion started to shift. People began to see the strange beauty in this iron giant taking shape. The tower was built in record time. From the start of the foundations to the final piece being hoisted into place, the entire construction took just 2 years, 2 months, and 5 days. An unbelievable feat of engineering and project management. On March 31, 1889, Gustave Eiffel himself climbed the 1,710 steps to the top and proudly planted the French flag, officially completing the world's tallest structure. For the World's Fair, the tower was a sensation. Specially designed hydraulic elevators, another technological marvel, whisked visitors up to the platforms. People were desperate to experience the breathtaking views of Paris from this new, unprecedented height. The tower that was once ridiculed as a monster had become the star of the show. Originally, the plan was to dismantle the tower after 20 years. Its permit was only temporary. But by then, it had become so much more than just a fairground attraction. It had become a symbol of Paris, a symbol of French ingenuity, and crucially, it had found a new purpose. Its height made it the perfect platform for a radio telegraph antenna. During World War I, the radio transmitter on the tower played a vital role in intercepting enemy messages, helping the Allies secure victory at the Battle of the Marne. Science saved the tower from the scrap heap. So the next time you see a picture of the Eiffel Tower, or, if you're lucky enough to see it in person, don't just see a beautiful landmark, see a monument to human genius, a story of visionary engineers, brave workers, and a crazy, ambitious idea that literally changed the skyline of Paris and the world forever. It was built with precision, speed, and a level of planning that is still impressive today. It's not just iron and rivets. It's a testament to what we can achieve when we dare to build big. Thanks for watching. If you found this as fascinating as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories behind the world's greatest creations. See you next time.